How did we as a society come to perceive death as optional? I want to start by providing you with a warning and a reminder. This topic can be particularly triggering for people. It may likely bring up very strong emotions for you. While these strong emotions can be very uncomfortable, they are in fact our body's warning signs that we have some work to do around the subject. This provides you with an opportunity to deeply explore where that emotion originates, which then can help you understand yourself better. Today, we're talking about how society, religion, science, and our families of origin have influenced our perception of dying. These perceptions have led to a deep, ingrained subconscious denial of death that is causing all of us unnecessary suffering. That is because denial is the first step of modern-day grieving. It results on us latching onto false hope and grasping at any life-prolonging therapies without consideration if this therapy is going to improve our quality of life or not. This false hope also results in us delaying doing the necessary work of dying. This video is also a call to action for all of us who are in our golden years to change the narrative away from the medicalization of our end of life and shift to truly person-centered end-of-life care. Hi, I'm Dr. Vanessa Boyce, founder of Mindful Next Chapters, where we strive to provide the information and resources you need to make your golden years golden. We also provide you with guidance so that you can prepare and plan for your final chapter, ensuring that your care needs are met and that your final days consist of reconciliation, reconnections, and a celebration of a life well lived. If this type of content is something you are interested in, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so that you get notified as we post new content. With that being said, let's get back to our talk about dying. To understand how this death denial became part of our societal belief system, we need to look at our past and how our society has changed over the years. In the not-so-distant past, we lived in multi-generational households. This resulted in grandparents, parents, children, and even grandchildren all living under the same roof. This made it inevitable that we were bearing witness to our loved ones' decline and to their death. The medical field at that time lacked the sophistication in terms of life-prolonging treatments. Instead, the local family doctor would come to the home and provide symptom management for the dying, as well as anticipatory guidance to help prepare the family for the inevitable death. When this death occurred, the family had to engage in practical preparations for the funeral or wake. These practices became ritualistic. Examples of this would be washing, grooming, and dressing of the body, as well as the actual digging of the grave. These active processes helped us to accept the finalness of the death and helped us along a healthy grieving process. The funeral or wake was held in the home. The body was typically on display in what was known as the parlor. This was the room with the best furniture that was only used for very special occasions. With the onset of the Industrial Revolution and 2 world wars, we shifted from a multi-generational home to a nuclear family home. This nuclear family consisted of parents and children, and when the children become adults, they would move out and start their own home. This led to a disconnectedness to the bearing witness to the physical decline leading to death of the grandparents. Coinciding with this change was an exponential growth in the fields of science and medicine. With the onset of new technologies came the development of hospitals where these technologies could be implemented. At this point, the location of our deaths shifted from the home to the hospital. This occurred not only because of the patients being in the hospital for the life-prolonging therapies that were available, but oftentimes they were in the hospital because they did not have a multi-generational household to take care of them. This created a society that was insulated from bearing witness to a dying process. This also created a society that were in disengagement from those rituals that provided us to accept the finality of death and thus start a healthy grieving process. We actually have a model of how we can insist that the medical professionals treat our end-of-life experience as the sacred event it is. This model comes to us from when mothers and fathers strongly advocated for a personalized and family-centered birthing experience. They found that they were experiencing a paternalistic approach to a woman's birthing process. This resulted in the woman laboring without the support of her family. She did not have choices in regard to her symptom management or her delivery preferences. The fathers were left to pace and worry in a waiting room. Just at the peak of a woman's discomfort, she was moved from the labor room to the delivery room, where the baby was delivered without the presence of the father. The mother was given a brief glance of her infant before the infant was taken to the nursery. The father's first interaction with the baby was through a window of the nursery. During the mother's hospital stay, she was likely only permitted to engage with the baby during scheduled feeding times. The father did not get to hold or see the baby in person until the mother and baby were discharged. The insistence of this generation in reclaiming the sacredness of a birth resulted in tremendous changes in medicine's approach to the birthing process. It resulted in a multi-generational presence for the birth of the baby. It gave the mother the power to choose how she wanted her pain to be controlled, as well as honoring as best as possible her preference for the manner of delivery of the baby. These changes resulted in some amazing outcomes for the mothers, babies, and the families. There is a reduction in cesarean and forceps deliveries, with the result in reduction in complications that frequently occur with these types of deliveries. The bonding between the parents and the baby was significantly improved, and it is believed that the early bonding with the family unit is the cause of a significant decrease in infant mortality that coincided with these changes. I'm going to leave you with some questions and suggestions that I hope will lead you to challenging the medical system to do better for patients experiencing their final chapters. Number 1, where do you want to spend your last days? Communicate your expectations in regard to this, not only to your family, but to all of your care providers. Number 2, identify at what point your quality of life will be more important to you than extending your life. In particular, consider whether life-prolonging treatments being recommended by the physicians are going to only prolong your dying process. Also think about if those therapies are only going to increase and prolong your suffering. Number 3, if the circumstances surrounding your death result in your dying in the hospital, should you and your family be entitled to a dying suite similar to the birthing suites that are offered to families in their birth process? If you believe this, how can you advocate with your doctors and hospitals to encourage them in providing this? Number 4, most importantly though, share your expectation of the care providers in terms of their honest communication with you about what your prognosis is. Okay, so I've given you a lot to think about. A couple of last things. Remember the parlor we talked about, where the funeral was held in the home? We are so death-phobic that we now call that room the living room. Think about that. I strongly encourage you to engage in our Facebook group. If you have a question that you are struggling with, chances are many more are also struggling with the same thing. Having the courage to bring this up in our Facebook group is a great way to find support and answers. You may also have the answer to somebody else's question and therefore can ease their burden. The Facebook group is the place where you can feel welcome to talk about difficult and sometimes even those things that are considered taboo subjects. This is because the others in this group are in a similar place as you, and as such are uniquely able to understand what you are experiencing. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope to see you in the Facebook group soon. Thank you, and God bless.